From Carbine Studios comes the most epic, face-melting, mind-obliterating, galactic adventure since the beginning of time itself. What? Yeah, it's that good. Tame the land, decimate your enemies, adventurous about to get an ass kicking. Welcome to Wildstar.
GRTV, we're still at Nordic Game. I'm here with Matt now from Carbine Studios, who's developing Wildstar, the new MMO. And open beta is rolling. It's in full swing.
Actually, open beta is over, officially.
There we go. Okay, open beta is not on still. But wow, it's not long to launch now.
No, we're less than 2 weeks away from launch and about a week and a half away from our head start.
How does that feel?
It feels exciting and nerve-wracking all at the same time. It's been a long journey, so to get to the end of that journey, and then we have a whole nother journey starting with post-launch and being a live game.
Yeah, you're talking about monthly updates, and there have been other MMOs that have promised the same thing. I think one of those that really delivered is ArenaNet with Guild Wars 2 and the 2-week update thing they're doing. How does the process look to actually deliver monthly updates?
The process is looking really good. If we weren't confident that we couldn't deliver every month, then we wouldn't be talking about it. We worked very early on. Guild Wars, ArenaNet is a sister studio of Carbine, and we got a lot of insight into their process of how they do their updates. And we have a whole team. We have over 200 people that are working on post-launch, and then we have a whole nother team working on the live game, so making sure that all the balance updates and everything get into the game. So we have this like kind of two-prong approach, but the entire Carbine development team is focused on post-launch and supporting the game.
Because ArenaNet got some criticism for the 2-week update, that it's too quickly, it just happens too much, people can't keep up with the living story. Do you feel there's like a magical limit to when updates, how far apart updates should come?
Yeah, we did a lot of research and analyzed it. I think even some MMOs in China, they do like weekly updates, right? So we try to figure out, okay, what's the expectation of our players? And for us, we looked at, well, we are a subscription-based game, right? The players, they want to subscribe every month, so let's make sure we're giving them at least something every month that they'd want to play. Now, the way that we're doing our rollout, some months it's a new zone where it's for your casual player, just going through zone content and zone type quest. Another month might be a PvP month, and another month might be like a dungeon or a raid. So I think with the rollout, you're going to see a balance of all different types of play styles and content styles, and I think that's going to allow people to catch up and keep up with the content.
One thing also, we have Elder Scrolls Online just came out, Wildstar is coming out soon, and you're both subscription-based games in a time where people seem to think that it's free-to-play or bust.
Right.
What does a subscription-based offer, for example, that a free-to-play game can't? Or does free-to-play offer something that the subscription game can't?
Well, the way we see it, our philosophy is this, is that we are a full-featured MMO. We have tons of content, right? So off the bat, you are getting everything included in that subscription, right? Everything. And then post-launch, with a subscription base, we feel like we could keep a full development team on providing customer support, fixing all the issues, improving balance, and creating completely new content. And I don't feel like we could do that. We could have a whole team if we weren't a subscription-based game. Now, on top of that, it's very important that Wildstar also has cred, right? So there's an option for players that if they play enough and they make enough gold, that they could actually purchase cred from other players on the auction house and not have to pay the subscription fee. It's much like the Plex system in EVE. So we feel like we've offered another option on top of the subscription, but honestly, like, we like subscription-based games because what you pay for the whole game. All of our post-launch content, not just like stuff like zones, dungeons, raids, everything, But the customization stuff, we're giving new items, new outfits, new mount customization, new hoverboard types. All this stuff is included in that price. We don't want to nickel and dime our customers, right? And when we were looking into the free-to-play models out there, what we found out is if you add up everything that would take to match a full-featured MMO, it was way more than the subscription-based games we're offering.
But do you feel that the free-to-play games, do they have something to offer that you can't?
I'm not sure. I mean, I guess if somebody wants a limited experience and they don't want to pay, they have to know that. So, from what I understand, for most free-to-play games, they're limiting the content in some fashion in order to, have people paying for extra things, right? And I just feel like that changes the playing field. It means that people that have more money are going to get a different experience than the players that aren't paying money. And with the subscription base, it really evens the playing field. It's not about, hey, I make more money so I could have more stuff. It's literally like everybody is equal.
I have to ask this question. It's one of my pet features of any MMO I play is the player-owned housing. Yep. I love my virtual dollhouse. You should see them on the time I spent in EverQuest too. Why did you decide to, from the bat, because other games have added this after the fact, after launch, why did you decide to include it now? Well,
I think that one of our philosophies when making the game is really adding customization wherever we can. And when we coupled that with the story of Wildstar, where all these races are coming to Nexus in order to settle the planet, we're like, we need a feature that supports that. And player housing was kind of a no-brainer. And it started as, fairly basic, hey, buy a pre-made house and, you get to maybe put a few things in. And over time, it became, let's give more freedom to the players. Let's give them free-form placement of decor. Let's allow them to scale it up. Let's put collision on it. Let's give them plugs. Let's have different options for your house. And it really grew out of that. And I think it just became, it became a dev favorite within the office. It's definitely my favorite feature. And it's my favorite to see all the fans and all the players, what they create, because it really just, some of the things are mind-boggling that they create, like the hoverboard skate park that one player created. Absolutely amazing. We never thought they would do that, right? So it really gives players the freedom to do what they want. One thing I also want to say, we were talking about post-launch. We are officially talking about that we are doing guild player housing. We're not saying when. It is in the post-launch. It is currently in development, but we are doing guild player housing.
Let me say amazing. As I said, virtual dollhouses. You recently in an interview said that Wildstar, there's a lot of former Blizzard employees at Carbine, and you said that you guys were trying to do Wildstar where more or less right. Where WoW went wrong. Can you expand on that? Can you explain a bit more what you actually meant?
I think, when you can't just talk about WoW, right? I think when you talk about MMOs in general, you have to look at everything out there. There's some games that do things well, and there's some games that don't do things well, right? And you have to look at the whole space. Obviously, WoW is, the most mentioned because it's the most popular, most successful, has the most players. But I think what it was we really wanted to make something new. When Carbine was formed, we're like, hey, let's make something different, right? At the time, everybody was doing fantasy, so we wanted to do sci-fi. A lot of us were big fans of Legend of Zelda and God of War, and we felt like combat, really needed an overhaul.
You used to be a normal tab targeting game.
We actually, believe it or not, we developed pretty much every type of targeting and combat that you could imagine. We tried everything out. We were at one point we were traditional WoW. At one point we were kind of a soft targeting reticule thing where if you got close to the thing, then it would lock. We had a Z-lock function at one point, and we just kept iterating and iterating and iterating. And I think if you talk about what inspired or what is close to the combat that we currently have in the shipping game, it's almost like MOBA style combat. Like, we looked at League of Legends. We have a lot of League of Legends players on our team. And we really like some of the reactive stuff, the skill shot stuff that they have in that game. And that kind of helped inspire some of the stuff we're doing in Wildstar. So we feel like maybe a lot of those League of Legends players that have never played an MMO would really get into our game.
All right. So final question. Favorite race? Shua, right?
Actually, my favorite is the Granok. I'm more of a Granok type guy. I love the blue collar hero, and to me, I love playing Granok. Plus, my character name is Mount Crushmore, so I really, really just love playing Mount Crushmore in the game.
I really like you. I like meeting you and talking to you, but I'm kind of disappointed.
Oh, really? Well, look, here's the thing. They're all my babies, right? I love them all in different ways. But for me, I've always just loved the Granok. I don't know, big rock dude, kind of like combination of Hellboy meets The Thing, you know, like, I don't know. It just, maybe it's just nostalgia for all that old comic book stuff. But yeah, I love the Granok.
As a dedicated gnome player in World of Warcraft, I might just, you know, it's hard not to play Shua.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for talking
you.
to us, and good luck with launch.
Thank you very much.
I'm starting to like this place. Oh boy! Nobody touch anything.